chance to sit down and watch it. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
So I was wondering if you could start off by telling us a little bit about where the idea first came about for the film.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been living and working on that farm that you see in the film for about 15 years or so, and then I also started learning about filmmaking around that time before I made the film, and so I think I just naturally thought of, filming the farm and the greenhouse, and I just wanted to capture that atmosphere.
Yeah. And also it goes into some very deep subjects as well, looking at what life would be like for somebody after the death of their parents. How did you find that process of going through that kind of theme when you actually first sat down to write out what you wanted to do with the film?
Yeah, I think it's a strange process for me because I don't think I write. I don't really sit down and write screenplays or anything. It's more kind of me thinking about it while I'm working and just going over it again in my head and what scenes would, kind of fit in the film. And so I think the process was really more about filming for me because I'm sort of writing and thinking while I'm shooting, so it's kind of a mixed process.
Yeah, I loved the opening sequence of the film. Tell us a little bit about how you came up with that idea for the opening sequence and a little bit about how you actually went out and shot it as well.
Yeah, so the opening sequence, you're talking up until the car drive?
Yeah, the car drive, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so, well, at the very, very start, I definitely wanted, like an abstract texture of the greenhouse, and which is important for the rest of the film because you hear and, yeah, you mainly hear the texture of the plastic being blown by the wind, and so that was an idea for the very start. But then, I guess going into the car drive, I needed to, show how the parents have passed, but without any dialogue. And I've always been sort of, I don't know if you go on like long car drives or just almost aimless car drives, and they become kind of surreal, and sometimes I think that's the idea I had for that.
Yeah. The fact that this movie speaks to its audience so well without dialogue there, tell us a little bit about the how you went about actually making sure that the film could actually put its message across to its audience, but without using dialogue, because I thought that was one of the fantastic features of this film.
Yeah, I think, I admire a lot of other films that are able to tell their story without much dialogue. And I think it requires maybe a little more openness and patience for the audience.
Yeah.
Because you can really tell a film through the sound and images and not just dialogue. If you read between the lines, even if there is dialogue, you can gain so much more, I think.
Yeah. Sound does play a very, very big element of this film as well. What were you trying to achieve with the sound? Because it is so powerful in this film.
Yeah, most of the sound is like natural location sounds. Yeah, and so like there's obvious sounds of like the birds, the wind, water dripping, but there's also like a kind of drone, atmospheric sound, which is actually like the distant planes that come from the Australian Air Force Base nearby.
Yep.
And so that sound, I felt, really created an atmosphere of like anxiety for me.
Yep. Yeah. This film, one of the things that really amazes me is that you were the only person working on this film. For all the other filmmakers out there listening, what are the advantages of you being the only person involved with the film, and what are the negatives of that as well?
Yeah, I think that's a good question to ask, because I think a lot of maybe independent filmmakers are doing that now, and it's both, as you said, there's a lot of positives and negatives. I think for me, it was like more comfortable working by myself, and I had the freedom to like make a lot of mistakes and not feel like pressured from other people. And then, but the obvious negatives is that you're limited with, you know, what kind of shots you can do, and you know, I think it just takes a lot more time and patience working by yourself.
Yeah. Talking of those shots, you do have some amazing shots in there. Like they really, really blew me away. How much thought do you put into those shots, and how much trial and error do you actually go through to try and get those shots?
Yeah, I think being limited in that way, like, kind of forced me to think about what I could do. So, you know, I had a tripod, which meant I could film myself in static shots, but I needed dynamics in the shot, which meant that I could, you know, move around in the frame, think about, you know, maybe starting close to the camera and then moving away slowly.
Yep. Yeah, oh, it definitely worked. They were absolutely amazing. And I have to ask, how do you feel now that the film has been picked up for the Sydney Film Festival?
Yeah, I'm really honoured and grateful that, yeah, a major film festival in Australia has selected it, and you know, they have a really good reputation of like showing Australian documentaries and films, and it's really special to be a part of it this year, even though, you know, it's only online.
I was going to ask that. How do you feel that changes the way that an audience might view your film? Because I found that watching the film on a bigger screen TV, it totally immersed me into the film. How do you feel as the filmmaker that the film is going to be viewed online? Do you think that audience members will see it a little bit differently to what they would have if they were in a cinema environment?
Yeah, I think it's hard to say, but I think it's definitely more accessible for everyone, and like if they have a decent setup like you described on a big screen and a decent sound system, then I think that they are able to immerse themselves in the film. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, Allison, again, congratulations on such a fantastic film. Is there anything you would like to say to our listeners out there before they have a chance to check out The Plastic House?
No, I just think people should just keep making things, like try to make things on their own and see what they can do.
Definitely. Well, Allison, thank you so much for chatting to us today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we wish you all the best of luck with The Plastic House and also with your future film endeavours.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Not a problem. Thank you.